For Dufferin-Caledon.
Thank you very much, Speaker. It's good to see you in the chair again. I'm pleased to rise today to speak on third reading of the Child Care Modernization Act. Now, I should start by saying I don't think it's any big surprise that I am the mother of two. I keep them on my desk to remind me why I'm here. And I've actually used pretty much all forms of childcare. When our first son was born, I was back to work within 6 months, and when our daughter was born, I was back to work actually within a month. So I have used in-home daycare. My children and I and my husband still fondly talk and keep in touch with that dear friend, and she's an important part of my children's development at a very critical stage. I've used municipally run childcare. Dufferin County Jean Hamlin Daycare, incredible staff, very caring, very giving individuals that really went above and beyond. And finally, I've used private operators. Sandbox Tech has operated in my riding for 20 plus years. The staff were unbelievable. Debbie, as the owner, manager, operator, really understood the needs of the children in her care and provided that. So depending on when the age of the children, their development, their needs, I've pretty much used it all, Speaker. So that is one of the reasons why I very much wanted to participate in the Bill 10 debate, because what I have noticed with Bill 10 is this bill is being fast-tracked from the get-go. My Progressive Conservative Party colleagues have continually warned this government fast-tracking what is essentially an omnibus bill. This bill has far-reaching implications, and it will hamper the already challenged childcare system in our province. Even in my own riding of Dufferin-Caledon, there are a number of private daycare operators who have reached out to me and tried to explain and advocate why they have concerns with Bill 10 and how it's going to implicate them and their business. Unfortunately, it's too late for us to resolve these with any amendments because, of course, in third reading, if we're not in committee of the whole, we can't bring forward amendments on Bill 10. I want to stress that fact, that my party, and especially my colleague from Simcoe North, has asked this government to hold private, province-wide public hearings when this bill was at committee. We didn't do that. And I think we did a real disservice to the people of Ontario, to the individuals who work in the industry, and could have actually brought forward some very positive suggestions on how to, yes, improve the childcare options that are currently available in Ontario, but also ensure that the good operators, the individuals who are doing a positive thing, can continue. And of course, we didn't get that. This government brought forward a time allocation motion ending on second reading debate after a mere 6 hours was spent discussing the issues with Bill 10. Now this government has pushed it through committee, again, without proper consultation. I want to stress the importance of public consultation. We need to open up the doors of Queen's Park, open up the committee, and actually hear from the people impacted. Unfortunately, this government is acting like they don't care about that important and vital process. This government has decided to push through this legislation as fast as possible without really taking into consideration for whom it will impact. Speaker, as my party has consistently warned, this bill will affect 70,000 childcare providers and roughly 350,000 Ontarians. It will limit the number of available spaces for care with children less than 2 years of age and will make childcare more expensive. Parents will face hikes of 30 to 40% in childcare costs to make up for the shortfall in income to providers. Daycare providers will lose an average of $12,000 to $20,000 of family income per year through the involuntary reduction of spaces or by being coerced to work for a licensed agency. In addition, due to the potential for being fined up to $100,000, many providers will simply go underground in order to continue to support their families. This, of course, will result in zero oversight. In addition, many small daycare providers would be shut down, which will deprive parents of a place for their child to be looked after. And I think this particularly impacts the smaller communities and the rural communities. When you live in a rural subdivision that has 40 homes, there may be one at-home childcare provider in that community, and if we don't allow if Bill 10 shuts down those providers, then we're actually making it more challenging for those individuals who living in those small urban centres and rural centres. It's important to talk and remind people that 80% of the childcare that is currently on offer in Ontario is actually unlicensed, not unlawful. Okay, we are throwing around these words of unlawful, and it's a disservice to the people who have been providing excellent care. This bill's intention to foster learning, development, health, and well-being of children and to enhance their safety, but in fact, it does the exact opposite. We actually can't say whether this bill will improve child safety. If we're trying to improve childcare in Ontario, then we should be trying to reduce the cost of childcare for families and make sure that options are available. I want to reiterate the fact that this government has decided to not hold proper public consultations so that the concerns like the ones I've mentioned can be addressed. I want to mention again that my fellow Progressive Conservative colleagues and I have been very clear from the beginning that there should be open and accessible public consultation on Bill 10. I understand the impact of Bill 10, and we've advocated that the committee have public hearings across the province and that the committee hearings be available live on the internet. Once again, I'd like to stress this government has decided to do the complete opposite. Speaker, I've received numerous complaints about concerned individuals and groups. I'd like to take the rest of my time to read out their concerns. One individual emailed me stating, as a parent of a 5-year-old child, now attending a private Montessori institution, I would like to state that I disagree with the aspects of proposed Bill 10 that would affect my choice of alternative education. I believe a healthy education system provides alternatives to the public education system. Our child did spend 2 months in a public school full-day kindergarten program. However, the class size of 26, 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds made this an untenable situation for our child. We decided to move our child to a private Montessori school as her best education option at this time. I disagree with any bill that would change our ability to make this choice at a reasonable cost. Another individual emailed me saying the Liberal government has gone too far with this bill. The ministry has never contacted or issued notice of such a bill to private schools. I will have to paraphrase the rest, so not to mention names. The rest goes on to say that this is the way the former Premier ran the province. What a shame. It seems that this current Premier is the same type of leader. And there's many more examples. Basically, we allow people to make a decision about where their children can go to a school, private school, publicly funded through a municipality, and yet now we're putting all of these parameters on it that essentially are shutting down those options. So which is it? Are we going to allow parents to have an active participatory role in where their children need to be depending on their development and their education and their societal needs? Or are we going to arbitrarily say, Premier Dad and Premier Mom are in charge, and we're just going to have the children and then turn over all future responsibilities. I know that's not the Ontario I want to live in. It's not my expectations when I chose to become a parent, and I don't think that's where we want to go with Bill 10. So I will close with that. Thank you for allowing me to participate in the third reading debate. As I said from the beginning, it's unfortunate that in a bill that we could have actually made some positive changes, instead we're ramming through, and here's my prediction for what it's worth. In 3 or 4 years, we will be back in this legislature trying to fix what Bill 10 is about to do, and it will be doubly hard because then we have operators who have walked away and said, I'm not doing this anymore. Government is too intrusive, too involved, and I can't make a living at it. So thank you, Speaker.